Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to round 6 of this Inside Line Racing League season. You join us at the home of motorsport, the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. No better place for 13 Formula 1 cars this evening to be bouncing around and making a nuisance of themselves by overtaking. Joining me in the commentary box this evening is let's get it right. Joining me in the commentary box this evening is Nuthead, or Jaxie's best known. Still no Ginger Andy, probably got sunburned from his last week resort in Spain. Jack, how are we this evening, and what are we most looking forward to going to the British Grand Prix?
Well, first and foremost, hello everyone, hope you're all well on this fine evening. Pleasure to be back again with you for the second time. I did my second season run in the same season, how about that? But yeah, I'm very excited to be here as per usual, and to be honest with you, the most thing I'm looking forward to is the proper classic race of the British Grand Prix range. Of course, 3 DRS zones as well, so 3 brilliant opportunities for the guys to overtake, as well as, of course, doing it through the corners as proven before. Of course, always a track with such brilliant heritage as well, of course, as mentioned, by you, the home of motorsport. And well, to be honest with you, I'm just a bit giddy at the moment. I'm really looking forward to what is going to be a proper Grand Prix.
Absolutely, Silverstone poses just some magnificent tests of a circuit. The difficult braking zones, the flat-out corners. I'm watching Terra Luminous going through one of the most famous sections on the Formula 1 calendar, Maggots Beckett's, and eventually through the kink left of Chapel. And that's the key, obviously, around this circuit, because people think it's a continuous sequence of corners, which definitely isn't, as he heads his way up towards Stowe Corner. The man second place in the championship, hasn't won a Grand Prix yet, needs to, I feel, if he's going to win this thing, if he's able to win the championship. But at the moment, it's all in Leopard's favour.
Yeah, well, I suppose at the end of the day, if you're the one at the top of the championship, you're the one that can just be happy to keep it as it is. But of course, LCL Leopard is not one who's satisfied until he has wrapped it all up. So I'm sure, just like Limitless, they'll both be still pushing at best. But, of course, there's still plenty of guys in there that can add themselves in the mix. VSR Silver, of course, being one of them, looking as well through the field. You've got guys like Snazzy Even, you've got guys like Jason97 that could really get an opportunity, especially, of course, they have a 13-man grid. It's a great opportunity for those that haven't scored points to actually get some on the board here today.
Absolutely right it is. 6 points, I believe, the gap in between the top 2 in the World Championship, Leopard from Limitless. So it's not a big margin. Leopard's had the odd off result this season, but where Limitless has also just gained massively. He's had, I think last weekend was his 4th second place finish. Sorry, he didn't finish second last weekend, did he? I'm completely off it, but he's had a few second place finishes nonetheless. He's had the odd blip of a Grand Prix, and doesn't really matter though, because he's still coming out fighting. I think the gap might be a bit more than 6 points. And having said that, I can't quite remember the result last weekend in Austria, which is slightly worrying, but a lot has happened since then, and Limitless will just try to come back stronger this weekend. We know what he's like, and British Grand Prix for me, I've seen JD around here in a couple of other league racing events, none other than and it's actually not too bad around here, but it's just how good Leopard is potentially around here as well.
Yeah, of course, lap times coming in thick and fast. Actually, Limitless went into the pits, but Sarah went fastest 25.6. As even would have done a lap time there, but was invalidated. And P1R Brown just comes in second. Of course, last time's pole sitter, which was to everyone's surprise, and brought home the first podium of the season as well, with a 25.8 up to 1-0 Rosberg, a 26.4, and TSR Bastic currently on for a 26.0 in third place. But LCR Leopard is flying through the final couple of corners. Trying to make sure he gets it all right. Bit of oversteer there, heading towards Val. Up to the line, goes second fastest, 25.6, just about a tenth to split those two. So still close as per usual. And well, VSR Silver again going to prove his worth here in ILR this season.
Absolutely. I'm watching Snazzy Evening in the Red Bull, the Finnish driver, coming through now down the national pit straight. And having stood on that part of the circuit myself, you realise it's not actually as big as perhaps most other parts of the circuit. Flat out in 7th gear through Copse Corner, taking all entry curb on the way through, and then you keep your foot planted. Look how he's bouncing off the 7th gear rev limiter through Maggots of Beckett's, and then through the right hander, then the kink left hander of Chapel, and back on the DRS again for his momentous run up towards Stowe Corner. The hanger straight is this straight that he's on now into Stowe Corner. Very difficult to not lock the right front wheel. Very difficult as well to keep it all on the track. And as he's found out, probably with an invalidation, Sarah comes back. Snazzy Evening, I should say, comes back into the pits.
Yeah, of course, and well, just looking further down the field, our lap times came because the two Toro Rossos still good to see them sticking out at large. Good chance for them to bring home some very good points. 26.5 Reynolds and a 26.9 for York, and then Melanie splitting those two for 26.6. On board, remember Carl Mitchell, he's flying through the third sector at this moment in time, and well, he didn't exactly have the best result at Austria, but we're hoping for more here at Silverstone. He's now flying through Stowe corner on what will hopefully be his first attempt at a lap. And well, he spoke about corner cutting, and that is actually quite a variable around here. It can happen once or twice around the Silverstone circuit, so the guys have got to make sure they keep them penalties on the down low.
Absolutely, I think a case. Oh, good lap from Carl Mitch, who actually moves himself into second place. 5 thousandths faster than Leopard in third place. But yeah, you're right, Jack. The track limits around here are crucial. I don't think it's cutting the corner. I think it's actually just running too wide off the exit of corners. I think that's where people just try to test the limits on how far out they go. So it's more track limits on opposed to how much speed they're carrying. So corners like Copse and Stowe, a lot of the time the cars they're just forced to be, because of the amount of speed they're going into that, they're forced to just throw the cars out wide as a result. And obviously they lose, invalidate times, and as a result, possibly in the race, get warnings, which then leads to, of course, getting themselves penalties, which is a dreaded thing in league racing, and it's the same in this particular one as well.
Yeah, Tyrrell is currently on his second attempt now. I've gone straight back out on a set of softs to get another lap time in for this session, and well, he's wasting little to no time in this one. It's interesting actually that everyone's straight away on the soft compound tyres, so does that suggest we might have an inch of rain maybe in the race, given that we're seeing everyone going straight on the softest tyres, or are we possibly just being a little bit too excited?
I think maybe a bit too excited. I think usually the strategy around here, you don't want to touch the hard tyres. The hard tyres, I think this is one of the very few circuits in the entire season, I think there's only 2 or 3, this is one's part of that list, that actually gauge the hard tyre. And the hard tyre is a mess to use around this circuit. People can use it, of course, and people do use it. But the softs are probably the best way to go. So 3 sprint laps in qualifying, possibly 4, depending on how one of your runs has gone. But Limitless, again, coming back into the pits, just a sight of that for Tiro Limitless.
Yeah, his second one of the session. I suppose he's probably practiced Club and Vale quite a fair bit, so he's just thought, nah, I've done that bit too much, so I'm just going to keep coming into the pits and learning the other so much corners of the circuit. But yeah, now going on board with guys who are now about to start second final lap. Sarah Rosberg and P1R Brown, the leaders in that one. And well, given what we saw of P1R Brown last time, his confidence must be absolutely flying high heading into this week.
Absolutely, he's a man of very few words, as we found out last week as P1R Brown. But he definitely likes a good result, and I'm sure he's looking for one here at Silverstone as he heads on to another lap. He's only 2.5 tenths off a pole, and considering how long this circuit is, that's quite a close margin between the top few cars. As he heads through now, Aintree Corner and onto the Wellington Straight. This is a great viewing point. If you ever go to Silverstone, this is a great viewing point to watch it as they go into Brooklands. This is exactly where I was last year at the Grand Prix, and so many overtakes get made there. Last Grand Prix in 2018, and I'm sure this Grand Prix in ILR, and I'm sure the Grand Prix in 2019 will see a similar fate there as well. It's a fantastic place for overtaking.
Well, you could say that about the whole track, bar of course maybe Maggots and Beckett's, which is just a section which you just don't want to end up for. Some drivers do, and they do attempt it. But yeah, it's just such a brilliant track. Of course, we have to admit we are of course a bit biased, both being British. But we have to admit the amount of it's a track that I'm sure many a driver just enjoy. It's one of the tracks that, and let's face it, you can't put it on the league racing calendar, and regardless of what your pace is like, regardless of how you feel about the game, you just enjoy this one so much because of how nice it actually feels.
It's just, I know exactly what you're on about. It's a great feeling. There's so many, I don't know, I just love Silverstone. It's just a fantastic venue, and I speak for everyone, British fans at least, when I say we don't want to lose this place. Like, this is a fantastic Grand Prix venue. I don't think we will, but the amount of fantastic races you get around here, not just in league racing, but in real life racing as well, is such a jewel in the British motorsport calendar, the British Grand Prix, and you cannot afford to lose such a gem on the Formula 1 calendar, because this is a gem. This is right up there with the Spa, the Monzas, the Monacos. This is exactly what this kind of Grand Prix is. Back all the way back in 1950, the 13th of May, the two Alfa Romeos, or three Alfa Romeos, I believe it was, won the Grand Prix that day. Ferran, I believe, was the driver who won on that particular occasion. I could be wrong to say that, but that was all the way back in 1950, however many years ago that is now, 69 years ago. So it's some way back, but we can't afford to lose tracks like Silverstone.
Most certainly can't, and well, I'm sure the drivers will be just as much praying as, of course, we are right here. But through the second sector and through Magnets and Beckett's actually comes VSR Sierra, who's currently on the second attempt for lap time. We're keeping our lap times coming through as well. Just literally, Chris, I'd point out, 26.0 seems to be quite the popular time, because that last time I think it was a 105.6. Austria, we had so many guys within that 10th. We've now got it here with three guys, TSR Bastic, EBR Reynolds and Jason 97 F1, all done a 26.0. And just talking about Jason, of course, as we mentioned last time, Austria has got some pace, but just hasn't really had the luck. But for a 13-man grid, you have to feel he's one of the favourites. There's a bit of oversteer out of the final corner, and that will be a non-attempt at his flying lap. But there are still a few cars flying towards. One of them just to watch out for. He might be the German. No, he's going slowly. Who have we got on laps?
Nobody that I can spot in particular at the moment. I'm just checking Tyrrell Limitless. I think he might be pushing here. I think this might actually be a run from Tyrrell Limitless here. He's going through Maggots and Beckett's now, and now into Chapel. So we'll see then just how quick this Mercedes is. 26.8 in the middle sector then for Tyrrell Limitless as he makes his way up towards Stowe Corner. Very difficult on the brakes, throws the car into the apex there, and then don't take it too wide, and he does exactly, absolutely nails Stowe Corner as he then down onto the brake pedal once again into the final couple of corners. They've actually put a bump on the exit of Vale there, and through the final corner comes Limitless, and up towards the line, doesn't improve on his time unless it was invalidated, so he may go again. We'll have to go again.
Well, yeah, it was a 25.5 set by him, so it would have been enough to get around. So I think it was just about a couple of hundredths off of him, but Snazzy evens up to the line, goes P2, 25.6. Another man getting at a 25.6, so fantastic lap time from the Red Bull, and proving once again that he really has got the pace in qualifying.
Absolutely. Snazzy Evening, as we know, is, well, he was described as the one-shot merchant, the hot lap merchant, but, if you're able to do that in qualifying and then, back it up in the race, then it's every right to be in that sort of grid position. Second at the moment for himself, and just under a tenth of a second between first and fourth place. Sierra's holding on to that by the very narrowest of margins, about as narrow as the margin between Northampton and Buckinghamshire around this Silverstone circuit. There's not much in it at all. Some may say it's in Buckinghamshire, the others will say it's in Northamptonshire. Mind up, we're not too bold. But Tyrrell Limitless is a man under pressure then, who only get one run in qualifying to, well, really ignite and keep alive his championship groups.
Yeah, pressure's going to be on him now with 4.5 minutes left to go in the session for this one, but we've still got his teammate flying through the second sector. Cyril Rosberg, of course, a man that is looking to try and bring some decent points home to back up his, of course, very quick Mercedes teammate. There's no other word for it. And well, we'll have to see how he gets on as he slides through. And I think that might be the end of that attempt, because he just absolutely slid his way through Kopp's corner, and that might be the end of that attempt for him. Meanwhile, looking further down, there's a lot of guys getting ready for the last runs. Not many people going out. Zero G more so is now on his way out. Snazzy Evening, so Rosberg, I expect to pit. So everyone's sort of taking their time before getting out for them one final runs in qualifying.
The other thing I've just thought of with JD is the issue he may have here is he's only going to be able to fuel the car up really for one lap. There's no way that he's coming in, going back out again and doing 2 laps there. I really can't see that happening. So we're looking then at CRG more so. He's breaking the trend really in qualifying, going out a bit earlier than most, just so he can perhaps get that clean run. The trouble is though, if there's somewhere you don't really want to have a lot of traffic, possibly Silverstone is one of the worst places for that. You really have to duck line, especially the first few corners around here, because they're not very nice to be getting out the way of any sort of car. And we watch more so as well. Let's see how he gets on his particular run. Everyone else is also just filing through. So Sarah and Jork, they're both on out laps. Everyone else are in the pits.
Yeah, everyone else still taking their time with, well, what was 2 minutes 40 left to go now in this session, so no one really getting them, making sure they get the last second and get that track evolution absolutely spot on for them laps. Melanie now comes out the pits. I can hear a few cars revving up as Morso flies down towards turn one and down, of course, the DRS straight and hoping to get that flat. Going to have a bit of traffic on the right. EVR Reynolds has just come out right in front of him. And I think that might have to be a situation where I'll have to just go on another outlap basically and go again.
I've literally cursed that myself there. I said there's the one place you don't want to get held up in traffic was those first few corners. And blow me down, he got held up through the first few corners. Sarah then, the man who's currently on provisional pole, begins his final attempt in qualifying in the Williams. It'll be great to see Williams getting a pole position at their home Grand Prix as well. Sarah flying through the first couple of corners. He's on the pad, remember, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. These sorts of circuits don't ever tend to favour the pad user. The Brazilian then flying through then the loop and then towards Aintree. As you kept hard on the throttle then all the way down the Wellington Straight and into Brooklands for the first time, and for him the last time as well. A 26.9 in the first sector, hug the inside curve as you then run through Luffield. It's so many different lines you can take through here. He sort of keeps it really tight and then just narrows the apex as much as he possibly can. You do fall off the apex of Luffield. It's so hard to keep it all in tabs. Through Copse Corner then, flat out again through there, hold it in 7th gear, let the back end step out a little bit on entry, just so you can get that run through Copse Corner. Through Maggot to Beckett's again, keep your foot planted all the way through then Beckett's, and then start to brake and then back on the throttle again through Chapel and up towards Stowe Corner. It's a good middle sector as well from Sarah. Will it be an improvement? He's currently on a 25.5, so he's on a pretty good lap as he heads into Stowe Corner. Now Stowe Corner wasn't as committed as perhaps Limitless was on one of his runs. Through the final couple of corners, takes a lot of inside curve through there, and that forces him wide. And then a drag race to the line. Where can Sarah go? He improves on his time. It's to 25.4. It's a good effort from Sarah. Will it be enough in qualifying?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We have the long old wait for that one, and well, given the fact that he's just mowed his lead just that little bit further, and that could even possibly be enough with how close it is in qualifying. Lap time improvement can ensure goes over to the top 10, 26.2, looking further down the field. Melanie also flying through the second sector, but there is plenty of guys just now beginning their laps with approximately 10 seconds left to go. It really is time for them one-lap wonders to come and present themselves here in Britain.
Absolutely. I think Leopard actually invalidated his time. If he's going to get enough time to do another lap here, no. I think he's maybe just got onto a final run in qualifying. I could be wrong though. No, he has got onto another run in qualifying. So the championship leader has got another lap left in the bag. Can anyone else improve? Sergio Morso is rounding the final corner then for Red Bull. Can he get that car anywhere near the top few cars? No, 5th place is a good qualifying for him, but it's not good enough for the front row at the moment. And Tiro Limitless is flying his way now through Copse Corner. He's all halfway around the circuit, so he'll be one to watch. He gets so sideways coming out of Copse Corner. And P1R Brown moves himself into 2nd place with another great effort from him, a 25.5. He's only 600ths of a second off a pole position. Snazzy Evening is closing the gap then towards the final few corners of this circuit. And here comes Snazzy Evening, runs a bit too wide on the exit of the Vale chicane, and across the lines now. The evening won't improve. Can Carl Mitchell get that McLaren anywhere near? Yes, he can. He goes onto pole position with a 25.2. A great lap then from Carl Mitchell, and Sarah's backed out of his lap. Can Elstar Leopard improve? Limitless up towards the line then. He can't improve. He'll start from the very back of the field. And for the man second place in the championship, somewhere you cannot afford to be. And if you're going to go for it, and here comes Leopard then, he's coming up towards the line. Jason moves himself into 6th place, a good lap from him. And Leopard then, round the final corner. Can he get pole position? No, he misses out by about a 10th and a half, and it's not his day in Britain. It is the day, though, of Kyle Mitchell in the McLaren, a new pole sitter in ILR, and a fantastic pole position from Kyle Mitchell. Great stuff.
That's one that I'm sure the Canadian will treasure. It's just been a massive crash, by the way, between the AIs of Bastic and Carl Mitchell. Sorry, I couldn't help but laugh at that. But yeah, the McLaren gets himself on pole by nearly 2/10 of a second. And given how close these guys in ILR, that is insane that he's managed to do that. But just hooked it all together, done it perfect. And now he has the prime seat of pole position. But There's a lot of fast guys behind him and want to make an impression because P1R Brown at the bounce off. You've got VSR Sierra, always loves to produce a high finish, and well, LCR Leopard going to start alongside him, but Limitless has to start from 13th. He's got a lot of work to do for this one, James.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do. He's got a lot of fighting to do through the field. It'll be interesting to see just how much he'll be able to gain in the race. But regardless of all that, other than Limitless not setting a time, it's a second between all these guys in qualifying. Carl Mitchell starts on pole. We've had 2 Canadians race in ILR, and he's the first. Dralex hasn't done it yet. LCR Leopard starts from second. Sarah starts from third. P1R Brown starts alongside him in fourth, keeping up his good momentum in qualifying and in ILR to start from fourth. Rosberg, the highest placed Mercedes, maybe for the first time this season, starts from fifth. Head of Snazzy Evening, who may be disappointed with 6th place. Jason in 7th, good qualifying for him. More so in 8th. Baztec starts from 9th. Reynolds rounds out the top 10. Then it's Melanie and Jork with Terra Limitless. Unlucky for some in 13th place. Will it be for him today?
I'm sure the hometown British crowd would like to see nothing more than a Tyrrell Limitless victory, but starting from 13th, he's got a lot of work left to do. And well, there's a lot of interesting guys on the field to keep your eye on, of course. You know, I mean, you look at the front and it's like a diverse top 4. You've got a Canadian, you've got a German, you've got a Brazilian, and you've got a British. For no, that is not start of a crappy par joke. But no, James, I'm really excited for this one. I know you are as well. So I'm going to ask you this time. What's your prediction? Who do you think is going to take the checkered flag here today?
I still think I'm going to. You never like to predict these things, but if we're going to put a name on it, I'm going to say LCR Leopard, just because there's something in him that I think over the last couple of races, when he's got a lead in a Grand Prix, he doesn't lose it. He doesn't lose it. He's just brilliant at doing that. So for that reason, I think he will win today.
That's a pretty ballsy one, but no, I'll give you that. That's a fairly safe one, actually, I must say. I'll tell you what. Last week I went for an absolutely manic thing, and it came out like really bad. This week I'm going to go with a fairly simple choice as well. I think VSR still, you know, I think he's got good position from P3. I think the way that Carl Mitchell and Leopard, if they battle, that gives him an opportunity to really get in and get himself amongst it. So it should be interesting to see how them get on. But neither of us have the pole, man.
Yeah, but they're all filing away on the formation lap, and they're all. The other thing I was going to say, they're all very aggressive. All the guys in the top 3. There's nothing to say they won't get their elbows out, and I'm sure they will on the opening lap. So it's an opening lap not to be missed in Great Britain. And if you're just joining us, this is round 6 of the ILR season on Xbox, and you're joining us for the tier 1 action. And well, it's Carl Mitchell starting from the front. They all start on soft tyres. Every single driver starting from the soft compound of tyre. Interesting to see what happens there then. The highest placed Brit, as you said, is only 4th on the grid. Now, considering how many Brits there are in ILR, it's a bit of a shock that only 4th place would do for the highest placed British driver. Quite unusual, but that's the way it's panned out this weekend. 4th then for P1R Brown. And it's Rosberg in 5th, as we've said. So he's looking for another good result. He's had 1 podium this season. He didn't think he'll get another one, but you know, keeping your nose in there, you might just be able to achieve it. We'll see how these guys all start to form out. But well, what else is there to say other than the strategy going into this one? It's a classic one-stop affair. Barring any safety cars, etc. Expect only 1 stop from the softs to the mediums, and that is the way that they will go. Let's see how they will fare. Jack, any final thoughts?
Well, I'm just really excited to see off the start. You know, obviously we're gonna have the leaders squabbling away, but I'm also, of course, you know, you have to look at the championship contender down in 13th. I'm interested to see how many positions he can gain on lap number 1. Of course, he's got a few guys ahead of him which he would expect to be able to pass, but it's a question of, is it going to be instantaneous? That's the thing with Limitless. Sorry, is it going to be immediate, or is he possibly going to have to start working his way through early, which could cause him issues with traffic? But I'm ready. Let's do this.
Absolutely. There's 2 races to watch, and there's 1 race as a broad perspective. It's Kyle Mitchell on pole alongside Leopard on the front row. We'll watch Tyrrell Limitless and make his way through the pack today, and it's not the place the home favourite would have wanted to be. But it doesn't matter, because we go to 5 red lights ahead of the drivers. Out and away we go. That's a pretty good launch from Gran with pole position. Look at Leopard. He's already almost defending off Sarah as they head in towards turn 1. And can the Williams get ahead of him? No, he can't, but he's going to try again. Down towards turn 4, turn 3 that is. And then now goes Sarah. Will he get the move to Rosberg? Moves himself to the third. Leopard spun around down and towards the third corner there. And Leopard has spun around in the Renault. He's already lost a heap full of places. And he's going to have to make his way back through the field. What a shocking mess from the championship leader, who's moved himself down towards the back of the field. Tiro Limitless moves himself into 7th place, and all sorts of havoc have incurred over the first few corners of this British Grand Prix. What a sensational start.
Yeah, Snazzy Edom trying to go round the outside of P1R Brown. He's had a brilliant start at Snazzy. P1R Brown took the mind. In fact, Leopard spun. Rosberg now trying to get himself to go 3 wide down towards Cop's corner. Snazzy even on the outside line. P1R Brown. That's Rosberg files on through. And just like that, P1R Brown has lost himself 2 positions. But brilliant start from Snazzy Even. Just talking about that bit of contact. Meanwhile, we see P1R Brown, EVR Reynolds now going side by side through Maggots and Beckett. P1R Brown was going to shut his car off. I think that is York in the background as well. And one of the 2 Toro Rossos loses while the other one gains on a position. But just talking to you briefly, sorry, Stan, even going to go from him, not allowed to talk to it, but through towards Stowe, down the inside for the Finnish driver, and then pulls off a brilliant move as Sierra appears to be struggling. Not too sure what's happened with him, but just talking about Wan Leopard.
Here goes Rosberg, he's up the inside of him as well. He's made a move in the Mercedes. Sierra's falling back, hand over fist at the moment as he got damage to that Williams car. May do on the left front hand side of his car, may be the issue. But Kyle Mitchell leads the British Grand Prix by 2.5 seconds from Snazzy Evening. Rosberg into 3rd place, and it's a great start for him, all accounts, and Sierra down into 4th place. Limitless is down the inside of Reynolds as they head into the right-hander, and can he get it as they run into the loop? Around the outside goes the Mercedes. Can he get it all the way done? I'm not sure he will. He's going to be squeezed out of road to Aintree corner, and then down the Wellington straight, and he's just about got a nose ahead of the Toro Rosso as they head down towards Brooklands. Can Limitless hold him around the outside? Indeed he can. He's still muscling his way through, and Tiro Limitless moves himself into 5th place, and watch the Red Bull behind of Morso, who's also on a charge.
You can guarantee that Tiro Limitless's mood has gone from depressed to absolutely ecstatic in the space of 2 laps. 13th to 5 in 2 laps, and his championship contender is down in 10th. Just talking to you very briefly about that bit of contact, what happened down towards the loop. I think it was contact, I think either from Sierra or Brown under the brakes that just caused Leopard to just spin around as a result, which has ultimately cost him a massive heap of time. And meanwhile, Limitless is closing up on VSR Sierra, and he clearly must have some sort of issue because the lap times he's losing. Maybe it means that Mike Sierra had that bit of contact, but P1R Brown is also losing similar times, so we don't know what quite happened, but 2 pitters on lap number 1, James, means that, well, there must have been some sort of contact.
There must have been something gone down there, but P1R Brown, interestingly, has gone on the blue-walled hard compound tyre. He's going to go a lot longer, maybe even to the end of the Grand Prix on that particular set of tyres. Limitless was watching the lag as he heads down towards turn 1 of Abbey Corner, and this time can't make a move just yet on Sierra. He'll size him up for DRS down the Wellington straight. He's got to just nail it. He's got to be absolutely precise. You cannot afford to let it go. And here goes Tiro Limitless up the inside again of the Williams, and this time he's going to get the move done on him. Get wheels to wheel and the exit down then to all Daintree with DRS wide open. You feel it's like snatching candy from a baby, and Tiro Limitless moves ahead and into 4th place.
Yeah, meanwhile, Ferdinand Jason trying to go. Sergio also looked just a couple of corners ago to try and find a way past Reynolds. Now he finds himself defending against Jason 97, but it's clear that Sierra has some sort of issue on that car, so he's just slowly beginning to fall into the clutch of everyone else. And with such a tight grid here today, it was inevitable that he was, as York has retired from the session, so we've lost 1 already. So 1 Toros was flying almost into the top 5, as Reynolds, actual fact, speaking of which, has gone to the inside line towards Maggots and Beckett. Sierra's left in the room, but not going to be a chance. He tries to switch back as well, right in front of the British crowd, trying to put a right good show on for them, as now they come out towards Chapel, down towards Stowe. Both of them have DRS, but Morso has the best run of all 3 of them. Down the inside goes CRG Morso on Reynolds, but down the inside potentially goes Reynolds on Sierra. This is incredible. All of a sudden he finds himself fencing his way through, darting down, and he passes him, and now very well round the outside goes CRG Morso through towards the chicane, and eventually he finds himself in opposition, and Leopard trying to fancy his chance as well, but not going to have the chance just yet.
Absolutely great stuff, and there's more wheel to wheel action behind. Look at Leopard, who's trying to get past his, well, would have been championship rival with Sarah. Interestingly enough, the Williams and the Renault are going neck and neck then through Farm, and round the outside goes LCR Leopard and moves himself into 7th place. There's yellow flags. And there's a car off there, and is that Jork? I think that's the yellow flag. That's the yellow flag, it's Jork. Obviously, it's out of the Grand Prix. Let's watch Morso, who's just closing in on his his sister car in Reynolds. Can't quite get close enough into the braking zone through there, but Leopard is making up massive strides through the opening few corners. Laps of this Grand Prix after losing them all at the very beginning. Here comes Morso on the inside down the national pit straight. It's the ex-pit straight, and to the left is a college, and there goes Morso up the inside into Cop's corner and gets the move done on Reynolds, moves himself into 5th place.
Yeah, but is that a question of has he done it too soon? As Jason now finds a way past Sarah, and so does TSR Bastic further down as well. Oh, as Reynolds is off! Reynolds spinning off through towards Magnus and very nearly came together with Leopard. That would have caused shockwaves, but just like that, EVR Reynolds has gone from a really good chance for a great finish here to having to sort of pick his cherries now and get back going again. As meanwhile, looking further down, now you've got Melanie trying to way past Syrah, and Syrah is just dropping through this field. It's like as if he's jumped down a parachute through the rest of the field throughout this Grand Prix, and really got to, well, I think maybe try an early pit stop just to get a new front wing and get something back going.
Yeah, there's a fundamental issue with that car, isn't there? He's losing so much time out on circuit at the moment, Sarah, and this is unlike the Sarah we have become to know. Possible wing damage on that car. If there is, then it's a bit of a shame for him. Terrell Limitless is closing in on his teammate as well. It's about a second between himself and Rosberg, and we can breathe for the first time in this Grand Prix after 5 laps because there has been some canny fights going on throughout the field. Interesting though, what will Mercedes do? Will Rosberg allow his teammate through, or will they fight it as ever? That will be the interesting one. Championship on the line really, and Limitless needs to get those points back of LCR Leopard. Needs to win this British Grand Prix, and I'm telling you, it would send shockwaves through the league racing community if Zero Limitless could win from the back of the field in a league race like this. It would be quite incredible, but he's closing in on his teammate at a rate of knots as we head onto the Hangar Straight, lap 5 of this British Grand Prix. It's Carl Mitchell from Snazzy, from Rosberg, from Limitless, from Morso, from Leopard, from Jason, from Baztec, Melanie and Sarah rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, well now of course you have to wait to see, as you could just see the gap has been absolutely scythed down by Limitless to Rosberg. He is leaving nothing left to short. He's just given it absolutely 1,000% in this one, and so far is proving that he's probably quicker than his Mercedes teammate. But again, it comes down to it, do they give team orders? Leopard actually goes fastest of all there, 29.5, and is now right on the back of CRG Morso as well, so watch out for him trying to find a way past between those two as well, and potentially down at the towards Brooklands corner. But also Rosberg has now got to worry about Limitless behind him. Oh, I suppose it is a crucial moment and could really prove to go if Rosberg is a team play. And he goes the inside. In fact, yes, he does. So now Limitless is on the podium.
And Leopard's up the inside of Morso, so he's found himself through as well. And there's some mirroring action really between the Renault and the Red Bull and the two Mercedes drivers. And Tiro Limitless moves ahead of his teammate Rosberg, but Leopard has moved ahead of CRG Morso, who, to be fair, Jack didn't really put up too much of a fight against Leopard there. He did almost, I don't want to say let him through, but it did look quite easy for the German.
Well, maybe just preserving his race. Maybe we think, if I sit behind him, get the DRS, I can keep myself with a distance to Jason and just, keep going throughout this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, leaders, we haven't really spoke about them. Carl Mitchell still leads by about 2.3 seconds over Snazzy Evening in this one, and well, I guarantee Carl Mitchell was probably begging for a chaotic start, and it was just what he got.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And again, if we're going to go back to the incident, Jack, where did we really what caused it? I mean, from the camera angle I saw, obviously the Williams of Sarah, it was at the time, and Leopard were getting mighty close. Was it just a case of those two coming together, or was there a car behind who just launched himself into the fray? What exactly did you catch? Exactly what happened?
It looked like it was either Cyril or Brown, but it looked like someone just outbroke themselves. Because sometimes you do going into the loop for the first time, of course. You get such a high speed, and suddenly you're on the brakes, and obviously the leaders brake, then you brake, and it just sort of ends up in order. But I just think they all broke at the wrong time, and as a result, I think both of them sort of were going to end up in contact. And I think it might have been Cyril, it might have been Brown. I'm getting the chat say it was Brown. I think it was Cyril. I don't quite know. Nevertheless, one of them tagged the back of Leopard. He went spinning. And just like that, it just all dissipated. It didn't look like there was anyone behind. It just looked like the guys on the second row just sort of mistimed their braking because of the fact that the leaders had broke at their normal time. It just sort of caught them out, and then they catch the back. I wouldn't necessarily say one of them was at fault. I would just say, in general, it could go down as a racing incident, but you know, it happened so fast, as they always say.
Rosberg! Whoa, I was watching on board with Rosberg there, and he's got completely out of shape through maggots and Beckett's. The rear end was stepping out through maggots, and then just fell away through Beckett's, and he planted his, well, I suppose, finger on the trigger, as it were, and he had to lock the car's wheels all up. And now look, he's really under pressure from Leopard behind. And to be fair, Leopard's not pulling away from Morso here, so it may have been a bit wrong to say that Morso sort of let him through. I'm sure he's going to give him a good fight here, and I hope he does, Northern Irishman, because we know what he's got in him. He's a great racer as Morso at times, and we want to see that once again here this weekend. The second between Leopard and Rosberg. It's a Step 2 incident with Reynolds, and both Toro Rossos find themselves out of the British Grand Prix, and that's a shame. That is a real shame, because they had a real good chance for some really good points to Toro Rosso today, and they couldn't capitalise on it. Massive shame. We'll see what they can do next time out.
Yeah, down to 11 already, which of course does mean for the fact that, you know, everyone has got a really good opportunity to bring in some points. Only one person that's going to leave home empty-handed. As of yet, there's still some more racing left to be done, so there could be another time. All of a sudden, everyone could be in the points, which is really good, I think, for the guys, you know, further down the championship and trying to climb themselves up in this tight and close-knitted 10-round championship. You just sort of need every single point, and so far, those guys who, you know, haven't exactly had the best luck are, you know, sticking out as expected, and, well, they're going to bring home some very strong results today at least.
Yeah, Rosberg, as you're absolutely right to say that. I'm just going to cut you across though. Rosberg is losing all sorts of time on the tyres now. I think those tyres are really, really fading, and they're fading away quickly. Rosberg needs to do his absolute utmost to just help his teammate here and keep Leopard behind for as long as he possibly can. And Rosberg doesn't even look like he's going to defend it. Up the inside goes Leopard into Stowe corner, and they're wheel to wheel through Stowe. He's not scrubbing any speed, is he, Rosberg? He's still keeping on the inside. The two number 6 is doing battle up the inside. Again goes Rosberg. Can he quite get the move done? No, he can actually. Leopard has just found himself through. He's now into 4th place. Rosberg will have to try and fight that place back again, but Leopard moves himself within a place of his rival Tyrrell Limiters. Here goes Morso as well. He's on the offensive of Rosberg here towards Farm, and he's got the move done into Farm, because that forces the Mercedes out of road there, and then through the loop. Can he get the Red Bull all together here, then round the outside into Main Street? He's going to get the DRS down towards Brooklands corner, and once again, Morso on the offensive again of Rosberg. Can he go around the outside into Brooklands? Not on this occasion. It was sizing up through left field into an attempt to get him into Copse corner. Whoa, that was close.
You just see Morso, but a desperate drive in there. He's trying and trying to get past, because you can see Leopard scarper off in the distance and thinking, I need to be with him. Rosberg actually drops in almost out of Copse corner. He was forced to make a correction as a result. Lose position of Morso, but if he hadn't have corrected it, that would have been him in the wall, and that would have been Alfedas then to the Irishman here at Britain. And, well, now he's got to worry about Jason behind, but just a little further down as well, by the way, VSR Sirrat has made his pit stop, and I suspect a front wing change as well, so he'll try to go in on their mediums, as Carl Mitchell's in as well.
Yep, race leader pits then, after 9 laps on those tyres. They were fading away. It was 1.5 seconds between Carl Mitchell and Snaz Even, so we're starting to reel the gap in. Leopard, interestingly, comes into the pits as well. I'm sure his tyres have had it after the spin they had on the opening lap. So Limitless, as we know, he always seems to do this. He goes a lot later than everybody else before he makes his pit stop. I'm sure Rosberg's come in. Indeed, he has come into the pits. And they're all starting to find their feet in this one. All go on to medium tyres. I don't think there's been any hold up in the pits, from what I can see. Or has there? No, there hasn't. There's not been any hold up in the pits for any of the top few guys. Both got out ahead as well. And there's all sorts of action down in the pit lane at the moment, and they're all scurrying and scumpering along to find themselves into a good position. But let's see how much JD can close the gap to Saturday evening, and more interestingly, will he stop on this particular lap?
Well, I mean, you'd expect to see Limitless come in this lap, but you know, you just sort of have to see maybe he might respond to the fact that Leopard's come in, because of course, you know, fresh medium tyres will be so much quicker than 9-lap old soft, so he needs to start thinking about that gap behind. Of course, there was only about 3 seconds before they pit. Also as well, Carl Mitchell looked for a good outlap to try and extend that gap, because the gap between himself and Sazidi was beginning to come down. It was down about 1.4 before he came into the pit, so it's clear that, you know, Carl Mitchell is not having it all his own way, despite the fact that, you know, he had the great start and, you know, he's kept on leading. He still has to show that little bit of pace just to make sure he holds it. But yeah, as expected, Snazzy Evening comes in. All about Limitless, yes, he does as well. And as a result, I don't think Morso can come in. But Snazzy, 5-6 stop go, and that could be crucial.
That's the one thing you can't do. Silverstone is such a slow pit lane. 37 crawling miles per hour down the pits at Silverstone, and we'll see then if Limitless, will he be held up by Baztek, who's also going into the pits? They're going to have to get him out if they are. They have. So Limitless is out, so it's Saturday evening, but where will they come out in relation to the likes of Leopard, who's dancing his way through Stowe Corner, and the clouds are starting to form above this Northamptonshire, Buckinghamshire / circuit. And where will Leopard come in relation to his nearest championship rival, Terrell Limitless? It's going to be close on the exit of the pits here, but just how close will it be? Limitless has come out of the pits and he stays ahead of Leopard. Very crucial that that was the case as well. He stays ahead of his championship rival. Now Leopard will need to get on an absolute charge of his nearest rival, Terrell Limitless. The gap, 3.5 seconds. He's got, well, 15 laps or so to close in and make sure that he can get back past him, but it's going to be one hell of a task because Limitless looks really, really on it at this British Grand Prix.
Yeah, meanwhile, there's a battle between two pitters, by the way, that's come out pretty much top and tail, and once again, Bastic and Jason, them two have been together all race. Oh, contact! No. Bastic has sort of broke early. I mean, might argue broke early. You might argue that Jason broke late, and eventually, I think Jason's picked up front wing damage, and well, that could be just commentators cursing that battle all of a sudden, allowing Melanie to pass Jason as well. I'm so sorry, Jason. I didn't mean it.
Sergio Morso comes into the pits. He's 18 seconds clear of Carl Mitchell, who's now 3.6 seconds clear. Carl Mitchell made 2 seconds in that pit stop, but that's not been the effect of everyone else. But having said that, Leopard has managed to close up a little bit more, has he not? I'm sure that gap was bigger than 2.7 seconds on the beginning of the lap. So Leopard's starting to rein in Terrell Limitless as well. It's 2.3 seconds between Limitless and Saturday evening. But as it stands, Terrell Limitless is going to be in second place at this British Grand Prix. So he's got that in the bag at the moment, but he'll be hoping to catch and pass Snazzy evening. Will Carl Mitchell's tyres go off towards the end as well? Because as we saw, he lost so much time towards the end stint, the end of his first stint. That really could be a big factor for the remainder of this British Grand Prix. Melanie then is closing up on Bastek for the battle for 7th place.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of flying on them. He just seems to be really enjoying them. He's just come out on them and just really turned it up a notch so far. And now, well, P1R Brown's also passed Jason, thanks to that from me now, and just clear that he is really struggling thanks to that bit of contact with Bastic. And, well, Melanie now going to try and find a way past him to 7th. And, well, he's come out on these mediums with really just a point to prove. So that'll be interesting to see how well TSR Bastic defends for Renault. Of course, currently holding down 7th while his teammates up in 4th position. Now the fact that everyone has made their stop, so everyone will expect them to go to the end on them set of tyres if they don't have any damage or anything like that prohibiting, of course. And well, now he's going to try and do as best he can. Meanwhile, it's just a gap just about between two guys, by the way, where Rosberg attempted an undercut on Morso for P5. It didn't actually work, but at his first couple of laps he's really closed that gap down to closer than what it was. James.
Sorry about that. That was helpful. Rosberg, as I was saying on my muted mic there, really helpful for myself. What he needs to do, he needs to get on it on these first few laps really, because Morso is, well, there's only one way of saying it, he's on fresher tyres and get within the DRS really, just to tag him along with Rosberg. That's his biggest hope in this Grand Prix, just to stay with Morso. I think he'll struggle to pass him and stay ahead of him, but just giving him a bit of a battle may just hurt Morso's tyres that little bit that Rosberg needs to really pounce on him. And gaps then, as we're looking towards the top couple of cars, Limitless has narrowed that gap in 1.8 seconds, 1.7 seconds to Snazzy Evening. It's 2.9 seconds between Limitless and Leopard. And once again, that championship gap is ever decreasing with the resulting laps of this British Grand Prix.
What is it, the halfway mark? Would you believe it? I most certainly can't. But now, that gap being such, especially Max, but look at the difference in time there. It's going to have almost 2/10 through one of course, the most technical sections of the race circuit. And now, it'd be interesting to see because, of course, I always talk about this whenever there's a battle. Limitless closes up to Snazzy, and them two have a good old battle. That opens up a window for Leopard to close in. So if Snazzy can defend him long enough, this could turn in a three-way fight for second, and of course a clinical fight for the championship as well, because it opens up the opportunity for Leopard to come back after what looked to be a dire situation at lap 1. But saying that, Limitless goes fastest.
That's a big statement from Sarah Lewis to go fastest of all on medium tyres on lap 14 of the British Grand Prix. That is quite sensational from the Mercedes driver. And what he's got to do now is something that, well, is going to be a very, very tall order. It is past Snazzy Evening. We've seen drivers fall at the wayside against Snazzy Evening as a ruthless defender. He's almost, you could say, the Vincent Kompany of defenders here. He really does go in hard, and we'll see what he can do against Hero Limitless, who's really, well, just a great attacker in that sense, and it's going to be a ruthless battle between those two. Gap of the leader, though, it's 4 seconds. Is Carl Mitchell's just pushing that bit harder early doors, just so he's got that gap to bridge over the remaining laps of this Grand Prix. What I mean by that is, because his tyre life was going off, I feel so much towards the end of the first stint. By pulling away now, is he's just trying to almost use it as a deficit for later on, when he may get a penalty, or even lose a bit of tyre wear in those mediums as Leopard gets himself a 3-second time penalty, which is going to hurt him massively. He's 6 seconds behind then Tiro Limitless. And as it stands, Snazzy Evening will stay on the podium of this British Grand Prix, regardless of who Limitless passes him.
Yeah, he's got it all to do now, and well, now of course that means I guarantee that, you know, there'll be a time when Limitless asks him, okay, what's the gap behind, and Jeff will magnificently say they have a time penalty of 3 seconds, and he'll feel like that is music singing in his ears for the remainder of this Grand Prix. But now, of course, he's got to worry about Snazzy Evening ahead, and the gap is almost within a second, and when you get within that second clutch, it's virtually impossible to shake it back out again. So a really good opportunity here for Limitless as he keeps just setting lap times, which are just so quick in this session, and can really look to try and find a way past possibly by the end of lap 17.
Absolutely. He does need to get it done, as you say, does Limitless. It's so difficult as well, though. More good past the broke toe. We've seen so many cars who have just stayed in the toe and they're not actually losing any time. A great example of that is probably more so Rosberg. Rosberg has just stayed with more so in the toe, and that's what I mean by it. You just got to keep within them. There's so many straights in Silverstone. It's so difficult to then break that toe. The 3 DRS zones you have around here, it's going to be very, very tough for Limitless to then shake off Snazzy Evening behind. So we'll see how he fares. He's about a second behind Snazzy Evening at this particular stage. He needs to get just that under a second margin into the start. And Limitless is still sticking within that second window. And here we go. He's going to get DRS in the next couple of corners. And this is really the big moment in the Grand Prix. Can he pass Snazzy Evening without getting any sort of carbon fibre flying everywhere?
It also opens up an opportunity for the race win. If he can get the move done ASAP and get the power down, Carl Mitchell actually has a time penalty to his name. So at the moment, Limitless is about 5 seconds off of the race leader. If he can get that gap to around about 3 seconds once he passes Snazzy Evening, if he passes Snazzy Evening, of course, then he has the opportunity to actually claim a last to first challenge and upload a Tim McMardock video for this one.
Did you see the bite of oversteer coming from Snazzy Evening into entry corner there? He was full opposite lock going into entry corner, which is a natural flat-out left-hander. But, you know, there's another fun stat to bring to you guys, and that is Tyrrell Limitless has never won an ILR Grand Prix. And, well, if he's going to do it, this will be a very good time to make sure he can do it as well. His home Grand Prix, flat-out through cops, and this is maybe one of the biggest moments in ILR history we're really witnessing here, is Limitless fighting his way through to witness possible fantastic result. 10 laps to go of the British Grand Prix, and can Tyrrell Limitless get ahead of Snazzy, get himself within about 3 seconds of Carl Mitchell, and win the British Grand Prix? It's a massively tall order, but to be fair, if there's only one man who could do it, Tyrrell Limitless can do it. And Snazzy Evening has come to the pits. He's come in. What's wrong with that Red Bull? He's decided to pit, which is very unusual. He's retired. Massive blow for Red Bull. It's unusual.
I was about to say there's going to be fireworks in this one, and all of a sudden everyone just seems to have cancelled the fireworks show. It turns like bonfire night is not going to be on the 17th of May, so it's going to still be the 5th of November this year. So I don't quite. I'm a bit
I'm
like,
a bit
I think we're both a
flabbergasted.
bit. Yeah, that's the exact word I would use. We're both flabbergasted.
Yeah, it's just so unusual that such an event happens. But, well, there's still a big old race on our hands here because Tero Limitless is 4.9 seconds behind Carl Mitchell. He needs to close that gap at a rate of knots. Needs to make 1.9 seconds over the next 9 laps. He is going to have to push like hell. Is Tero Limitless. This could be unbelievable if he could pull this off. It really, really would. Let's see then. Limitless 3.5 seconds ahead of his arch rival in Leopard, and he's got to get on it here. He needs to really, well, some Mercedes fans would call it hammer time. That's kind of what he needs to get and do here to Tero Limitless. He needs to push this Mercedes to the absolute limits and not get penalty. He needs to live up to his name to try and beat Carl Mitchell in this one. This could be massive.
It's one of, if this actually comes off, this is one of them moments that, of course, you'll know, James, as being a fellow commentator, that when you do commentaries, you always remember ones that feel special. You will tell you what, if Tyrrell Limitless pulls this off, we will talk about this probably next year. Let's say, for instance, I do a one-off commentary in ILR for Season 6, I don't know, out of nowhere. And I will tell you what, we will still talk about this. This could be an absolutely mesmerising moment that it could have sent shockwaves through league racing, let alone in ILR.
It could well do, and I'm sure he'd make a big point of it, winning a league race in ILR, because he's had his tough times in this league. He really has. He's not had it his own way. When he joined the fray last season, I think a lot of people would back me up and say that actually a lot of people expected a lot more from him in that opening season, but the luck would suggest that it wasn't on his side, and it wasn't on his side either. That particular Red Bull team, Tero Martin couldn't quite do it. He's had his rotten bit of luck as well, but can Tero Limitless? You know, this is a man that people forget has never won a championship in a league race, a league racing championship. So there's a lot on the line here, I think, for him and for a lot of people who watch his content. He's a man on an absolute charge. In all senses of the word at the moment, he's 4.5 seconds behind Carl Mitchell. He needs to still bridge that gap. 1.5 seconds are the lucky numbers for him on that Mercedes car and the sort of gap that he needs to win this British Grand Prix.
Well, I mean, what was me, sorry. VSL Sierra finding a way past Melly on his comeback. He's still going, VSL Sierra, so just now finding a way past him. We focus on people on our brand next. He's still going on them hard set of tyres and doing a good job on them, actually, have to be said. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, I was just going to talk about the fact that, you know, it's a win-win situation for us here, you know, because if Carl Mitchell wins, he had himself into the list of ILR winners and, you know, can really go down as a good driver that, you know, could bring home 25 points for Canada, really. Or we're going to have a situation where Limitless wins and we have him put in the books finally as an ILR winner and potentially could use this result to spring off to more in the future and bring home what could be his first league racing championship. So it's a win-win situation for us. But it's you know, which one would you prefer? You know, I mean, it'd be nice to see Carl Mitchell win. It'd be nice to see Limitless win. I don't know which way to turn.
I'm not too sure myself either. We've had 3 different winners of this ILR season. I predicted at the beginning of the season we'd have 5. So anyway, we're looking at the moment, it's a good win in my book, and we're looking at a 4th different winner. In 6 races, if we could go at that rate, that would still be an unbelievable season. And Carl Mitchell would add his name to be the 9th different podium sitter this season. 9 different podium sitters in 6 Grand Prix. That is something that is truly unheard of. Tyrrell Limitless then holding up the charge. And will Carl Mitchell's tyres go off like they did in the opening stint? Or as we predicted, well, not being predicted, as we sort of saw, they sort of fell off towards the end of that stint. Limitless has got 6 laps of the hardest bit of racing he's ever going to have to do, I think, in this British Grand Prix if he's going to win it. It'll be really, really, well, there's going to be some sort of emotions. Commiserations and congratulations are always the words I use to describe a second place driver, but I'm sure commiserations would be best described for this one. As Rosberg is closing once again on more so. He's actually starting to go for a move here as they come into Brooklands. Not close enough on this occasion. is Rosberg. We'll continue to watch the fights in behind as well, because Rosberg is really sizing up more so through Luffield and then down the national pit straight towards Cops Corner.
I think that may have been motivation by the fact that he picked up a 3-second time, but just about half a lap ago. So maybe possibly just thinking right now, needs to get the hammer down, find a way past, but still couldn't quite just yet. But still, has an opportunity. Of course, position. He started 5th and he now is 5th. So has a good opportunity here to a double points finish and really bring home some great points for the team, for Mercedes. Bring home 28 as it stands. Could be 35, or even possibly could be 37 by the end of this one. We'll have to wait and see how he gets on, and he's still looking for that way pass. He's not quite found just yet. Remember this, Sarah is closing on P1R Brown for P7 as well, almost simultaneously, but not quite able to pace off just yet. And P1R Brown, you have to admit, he's had some great pace on them hards, which is quite surprising.
Well, he's holding off Sarah here, isn't he? He's not, I wouldn't say maybe great pace, but considering he's on 18 lap, if he's going to finish, you'd think that he'd finish on this set of tyres. He would have done, how many laps is that? About 25 laps on that set of tyres, is that? About 25, 24 laps on that set of tyres, which is quite unheard of. You don't ever do that many laps on one set of tyres. And we'll see then if Stewart can find himself past P1R Brown. It's still points for the Brazilian. And on the hards, P1R Brown hasn't really got much of an answer to Sarah here, who moves himself into 7th place. Nothing really in it between those two. Gap at the front though, 4 seconds. It's half a second he needs to find, a bit more than that. He needs to find a second really, doesn't he? Within the next 5 laps or so to win this British Grand Prix just Terra Limitless. He needs to really push the hound out. This is going to be so difficult for him. Well, Carl Mitchell, he's driving, to be fair, we're not giving him enough credit. Carl Mitchell's doing a fantastic performance. He really is. He's driving the wheels off that McLaren. We've seen so many McLaren victories in ILR, and this would stack amongst most of them. This might stack amongst all of them, but will he be able to hold it? Will those tyres just bear on for another 4 laps? Will he be able to hold that second margin he needs to win the British Grand Prix? That must be going through his head as well. There's pressure on both sides of the M's here, the Mercedes and McLaren setups. Just how much pace has Tyrrell Limitless got?
Cyril goes fast, it's 28.7 and now closing on Bastic. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see, of course, McLaren, a big staple team for ILR, of course, represent URC in McLaren as well for the ILR Gold team, of course. So, it's got a bit of a close to heart one for them. So I'm sure to see Carl Mitchell go and sail on to grab another victory for them would be a great day. But of course, we'll hope to maybe see Limitless see himself finally get that top step of the podium. It seems to just almost like the carrot on the stick for him every single time. He comes so close yet so far. But today could be the day that all changes. And well, you never know, it could spring on to more victories. But first and foremost, yeah, like you said, we've got to give massive props to Carl Mitchell. It's just led from the start, and well, we had the chaotic start that you hoped with, and he coped with the pressure of Snazzy even and behind. His pace has just been so tremendous. He's almost been like a step above everyone who's contested him so far. But Limitless is really giving him a good go here.
I think the lack of challenge over the last, the first few laps really helped him in this Grand Prix. If he didn't pull that margin, I think this would be a different story. I think Snazzy evening would have really stuck with him, and we know he would have done. We know what sort of racer Snazzy is as well, and given the opportunity, he'll try and take it. With 3.6 seconds then, you can see him. Zero Limitless now. You can see a papaya orange McLaren just filter his way through Aintree Corner. I mean, you've seen horse races closer than this, but Aintree Corner is probably not the best way to describe how close a race this really could be. You could literally win it by a nose. Let's see what Limitless can do over the next few laps of this Grand Prix. It's all to tell. Who's your driver of the day? Let us know in the Twitch chat below as Rosberg finds himself past Morso. And that's into Brooklands Corner. And a place where a lot of overtakes have happened today, and another one has happened for the Mercedes driver on older tyres as well. He's on 2 lap older tyres than Morso. Gets ahead of the Red Bull. So how much of a fight will Morso put up then? I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll put up a fight. That's exactly what Morso's like, because Rosberg, the rear end on that Mercedes, has been, well, let alone Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire, that's been in Norfolk, it's been so far away from his car, it's a joke. Like, he's had no control over it. And we'll see if Morso can really deal, Rosberg can deal with Morso here. It's going to be close between them. It was a great old scrap for this one as well, for 4th place. I'm sure they'll be loving life down in 4th. I mean, not loving life, but they'll be certainly enjoying this.
So I think I can see it. I live in Norfolk. I'm just out the window. There it is. Just now sliding through. Just in the front end, massively pirouetting along towards Vale. It would be a fantastic day for Rosberg, but I think it could possibly be penalty related for CRG Morso. Maybe potentially hasn't got a penalty. Of course, we saw Rosberg did have one, so maybe just thinking, all right, I'll sit behind you, come home 4th anyway. So smart thinking, but leaders wise, it's 3.3, so it's going to be mighty close for the checkered flag.
Look how much he's on it. He's just throwing this Mercedes around. 3.4 seconds. But I mean, how much more has he got to give? How much more has he got to give? Oh, this could be ridiculously close for the final few laps of this British Grand Prix. I mean, a lot of you are thinking, well, 3.4 seconds. Well, let's give you an update. Carl Mitchell has a penalty, and of course 3 seconds worth of time penalty. Means Limitless needs to find half a second in the next 2 laps to win his first ILR race at a time where it really, really would matter. It really would matter. We'll see how he fares. He's just having to keep the car all in together here. There's some moments where you just got to help but feel he's starting to lose it a little bit. Mitchell is just holding his nerve. Can Mitchell hold on for the next few moments? 2 laps to go of the British Grand Prix. 3.3 seconds, 3/10 technically the gap for the race lead. Limitless locking wheels. He doesn't care about those mediums anymore. They could go bang for all he cares. But it's the other thing that I'm trying to think. The clouds have got a little bit anonymous here. Is it going to rain within the next lap or so? Because that would really, really turn this Grand Prix on its head. 3.2 seconds. We continue to fall at Silverstone. But just how much will that gap drop? It's ridiculously close. More so, back up the inside of Rosberg. He moves himself into 4th place. And the Red Bull is back in business here. The Northern Irishman gets past the Irishman.
Oh, look
Great
at that
stuff.
gap.
It's 0. It's 3.0 seconds. He could lose it by thousands here. 0 Limitless. 2.9. He's in the window then. He will win this Grand Prix. It's just hovering around that 3.0 second margin. The confidence he's going to have with his car on the last lap of the British Grand Prix. He's going to have to absolutely nail this final lap of the British Grand Prix. He's had no warnings as Terra Limitless. Look how much he's throwing this car about into the final few corners. Oh, goodness me, this is going to be tantalisingly close. Absolutely on a knife edge. The fastest lap of the British Grand Prix on lap 25. This means so much. Who's going to win the British Grand Prix in ILR? This is ridiculous. Limitless locks his wheel, he goes a bit deep. I think that may be it. Maybe. I don't know. It's just...
It's them minor margins. That's all it is. Oh, it's just
Look at
insane.
500s, 300s. If we get any closer than this, I want to see it. This is ridiculous. Limitless through left field. This is ridiculous. Where can he hold it? Where can he find the nail? Where can he nail it? It's 3.0 seconds, but it's 21 hundredths between Limitless and Kyle Mitchell. The Grand Prix lead it flat out through Scott's corner. 2.8 seconds, 2.7 seconds. He may have just done it here. The absolute impossible. Through then the final few corners of this British Grand Prix. Some would say it was the impossible dream and the impossible task, but in an impossible set of circumstances he finds himself in. It's 0.3 of a second, which is all he needs to do to win this British Grand Prix at Silverstone. It's 0.2 of a second now. It's edging away, but is it going to edge away enough? He's sort of lost it through the final couple of corners. Carl Mitchell round across the line comes first, but Tiro Limitless wins the British Grand Prix.
Me.
And his first ever victory in ILR has come at a time where he needed it most, from the back of the field to win in Britain. What a sensational performance from Tiro Limitless. Goodness me, that was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
I dare to think what he is doing on that YouTube video right now. He is probably the most animated man in league racing tonight. I don't believe that. What a comeback and what a day for Tiro Limitless. He takes his first ILR victory at his home Grand Prix by 0.2 of a second. Oh, this is something that will be talked about for years.
This is brilliant. Absolutely sensational from Tiro Limitless. I mean, if you wanted to go on your football punditry or your football lines here, that was an Aguero moment in many senses of the word. That was a last gasp moment to win the British Grand Prix by 0.2 of a second, and finally he could lift an ILR trophy aloft. It doesn't mean much. I mean, it means a lot, this Grand Prix. This is a massive turning point in the World Championship. But the other thing you've got to consider is he took advantage of where his championship rivals faltered and just didn't have it when they spun out on lap one. And maybe Leopard's Dave thought it was all over. He's had a tremendous drive as well. So many of them have had tremendous drives. But Tiro Limitless is an ILR winner, wins the British Grand Prix from the back of the field in sensational circumstances in Silverstone, ahead of Carl Mitchell, who finishes second. The 9th different podium sitter, the 4th different winner is Tiro Limitless this season. Leopard finishes in 3rd, Morso finishes in 4th, Rosberg finishes in 5th in the end, it's 6th for Sierra, 7th for Baztek, 8th for Brown, 9th for Melanie. Jason rounds out the top 10. We had 3 non-finishers in Stancy Evening, unfortunate. Reynolds and Jork both failed to finish, but goodness me, what a Grand Prix we have just witnessed.
Wow.
Well, Jack, I'm going to let you do the honourable honours here.
Well, thank you very much. Just wait for Limitless to get in. Then, of course, we'll get swiftly along with the podium questions. Of course, if we don't get him in shortly, we'll do reverse order instead. Start with Leopard, then Carl Mitchell, then of course go to race winner Tiro Limitless. Give us his thoughts. What has been, well, certainly another classic British Grand Prix. That's the only way I can describe it. Not quite in just yet, so I'll tell you what, we'll go reverse order. LCR Leopard. Leopard, well, 15 points, obviously a spin at turn, obviously you probably wouldn't have took that at the lights out, but probably after Village Corner you'd have probably taken something like P3.
Yeah, I guess. I think after I got into 3rd, it was really all I could do. I was matching JD's pace, kind of, but I made a couple mistakes. I probably a little bit quicker over the course of the race, but yeah, it's annoying. I don't know. I got punted into turn 3 and casually facing the wrong way round in last position. So not ideal, but I guess at the end of it, after all, I guess P3 is a semi-decent result, I guess. Yeah. We'll see what happens in the remaining races, hopefully. Gonna get back to winning ways, but yeah. Annoying. Take care, I guess.
Onwards and upwards is what I would say. In a situation like that, but just talking to you about that first stint on the softs, of course, you had to really get your elbows out and fight your way through, and obviously, people say it's a bit annoying because you have to do that, but it must have been a bit of fun.
Yeah, I guess. I think yeah, as soon as I got started, I was like, okay, I just have to fight my way through then, and that's what I did. Got on the podium, so after all that, it's still a decent result in a non-perfect situation. So, yeah, I got as many points as I could today with the situation.
Well, yeah, of course, next week, your home Grand Prix in Germany, Hockenheim, you must hope to bring home a home victory in front of your home crowd.
Yes, definitely.
Well, I'll have to wait and see. Of course, hopefully be ginger only next week. Well, I'll be off. Hopefully, might get a week. Don't know. Don't know if I'm allowed. Anyway, move swiftly along to a man who came home P2 and probably is more in a commiseration state than a congratulations for you for P2, Carl Mitchell. But still, fantastic drive, and just take us through the race from your perspective, because it looked fairly quiet because you had a chaotic start, which was kind of what you needed.
Yeah, no, that was a good part about it, but it was my race to lose, and yeah, I lost it, so I'm pretty gutted. I mean, I woke up hour before the race, did about 3 laps in qualifying, then about 3 laps for the race, and hopped in the lobby. So I don't know, maybe a bit of more practice would have helped, but yeah, still an alright result, I guess.
Yeah, 18 points. It still adds a considerable amount of points to your championship hopes. And well, of course, you could say I haven't had really the luck, or just attendance issues so far. Is there more expected for you for the rest of the season? Is there any particular tracks that you're thinking yes, I've got an opportunity to really bring home some points here?
Yeah, no, I like all the rest of the tracks left. I think Japan, USA. Germany's next, I think, so should be good. I don't know, hopefully I can just be a little bit more consistent in those.
Well, you never know. There's still what, 4 races left to race, so there's plenty of time to grab one. And just speaking to you, of course, about next week, the Hockenheim Ring. Thoughts on the track? Will we possibly see you up here again, or even possibly this time on the top step, get your redemption after Prix?
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, congratulations, of course. For commiserations as well at the same time. A bit of both.
Thank you.
Best of both worlds, really. But best of luck next week for Germany. Move swiftly along to a man that is probably jumping with joy to finally add this one to the memo and CV of TRL Limitless. Limitless. Wow, what a drive!
Yeah, honestly, I can't really believe it, to be honest. Didn't get a single lap, and in qualifying invalidated every single lap, and it took a week away from the game because last race I just didn't really drive that well last race, and just kind of lost my head at the start of the race, and took a week break and then came back, and in the race I literally I don't think I've ever driven a better race than that, particularly in the second stint in the medium tyre. I knew that Mitchell had a penalty once I got past Snazzy. I'm not sure what happened to him, might have had damage or something, but once I got past him, it was just all I wanted to do was just try and win, because I never won in this league before, and literally just drove the race of my life, and just so happy that I could just do a performance like that.
Well, it was most certainly a performance to remember for any league racer. I'm sure they'll remember TRL Limitless's win at the British Grand Prix, and well, it must feel extra special for you being your home Grand Prix.
Yeah, this is my favourite track on the game. It's my favourite track to enjoy, at least, anyway. Won the season open around here, and I wasn't really feeling that confident coming into this race. As I said, I'd been away on holiday with my girlfriend, and just jumped on today and just tried something quite different with the set, which didn't feel that great in qualifying or on the first stint, but on the medium tyre, it was just insane of how good it actually was. So if I wanted to win somewhere, it definitely would have been this track, and I don't know where that puts me back in the championship now. I know I've closed back in now, but just really looking forward to future races, and then just try and execute what I can this race, every race, hopefully.
Well, yeah, of course, just talking to you about championship, we believe, my mathematics is not great, I didn't do A-level, we believe you've retaken the championship lead, and, just talking to you, you got a 5-round shootout, Germany next week, will you possibly cause an upset at Leopard's home ground, or, is there is it maybe just another podium on the cards? What's your thoughts on the whole
I haven't done Germany since last time we raced in ILR or WOR, which I think I won the WOR last time around there, so it's a track I definitely really do enjoy. So the rest of the tracks now I think are quite good tracks for me, so just trying to be consistent, because everyone in this league is just insane, and you just got to just have a clean race. And unlucky to Leopard, had a little bit of collision I think at the start as well, and I think I went from last to like fifth on the first two corners or something like that. And also to Mitchell as well. I think he's won in this league, and I know the frustration of not winning this league for 2 seasons now or something. So yeah, he drove an insane race as well, and literally anyone can win a race in this league. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the next race. And special shout out to my teammate Rosberg as well. Didn't really need to make it that easy for me to overtake, but I think it probably actually made a difference in the end because 2 attempts to win the race. I think that definitely made the difference. So yeah, super happy with this, and just looking forward to the next race really. So
there we are, James.
Oh, what a British Grand Prix, that's all we can say, isn't it? Absolutely epic, as always in ILR. As I've just said, it's a league that never fails to amaze me, just how amazingly competitive it can be at times. I've got to give my congratulations to JD, fantastic stuff, well. And
thanks, man.
well, we move on to next weekend. It's 9 different podium sitters we've had this season. I'm pretty sure 3 different pole men and 4 different winners. I mean, it's all sizing up to be an absolute classic showdown, the run-in of an ILR season. Make sure you join us for the same time, same place. Guys, don't go anywhere for next weekend because it is going to be manic. Join myself and potentially Ginger Andy next week. And until then, bye-bye for now.